Thanks so much for tuning in. This is the Claims Recruiter Office Hours live stream where I go live every single Tuesday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time to talk all things claims, careers, coffee, and all kinds of other cool stuff. I'm your host, Josh Fisher, and this stream is brought to you by Crew Talent Group, the greatest claim adjuster recruiting group on the planet. If you're tuning in, jump in the chat. I'd love for you to say hello. And if you enjoy this content, do me a huge favor and like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me more than you could know. And if you're in claims or you want to be, connect with me on LinkedIn or send me your resume at www.crewtalentgroup.com. I'd love to hear from you. Now it's time for the show. What up, what up, what up? Happy Tuesday, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Having some technical difficulties this morning, but that's okay. We got the chat. Should be working here. Let's see if this works. If you're hanging out, say hello. Boom, baby. Let's go. Happy Tuesday. Hope you're having a great week so far. Hope this is going to be an awesome week for you. It's been an awesome week for me. This is the Claims Recruiter Office Hours weekly live stream where I go live every single Tuesday at 11 a.m. Central Standard Time to talk about all things claims, careers, getting jobs, working in insurance, whatever you want to talk about. Say what's up in the chat if you're hanging out. Love to hear from you. Totally open format. We hang out for an hour here, talk about whatever you want to talk about. No one pops in. I've got some topics to discuss, some things to go through. We're going to get right into it with my 3 things of the week. Again, before we get into that, say hello in the chat. Want to hear from you. Want to hear what's on your mind. What are you thinking about? Are you looking for work in the insurance industry? Are you looking for your first job in claims? This is brought to you by Crew Talent Group, the greatest recruiting firm on the planet for claims adjusters. If you are a claims adjuster or you want to be, I want to hear from you. Reach out to me. Head over to crewtalentgroup.com. Send me your information. Reach out on LinkedIn. Let's get into it. James says, happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday to you too, James. Hope you're having a great day. What's on your mind today? What are you doing? What's happening? Taco Tuesday. Porcano is like the greatest taco spot ever. It's like 6 blocks from my house. Come to Portland. We'll get some tacos. Let's rock. Time for my segment, 3 things of the week, where I go through 3 things that I think are interesting or whatever, and we talk about it. First one, little teaser in the description of today's stream. State of California, where all wacky things happen. Florida man, California man, same thing these days. California bear suit luxury car scam ends in insurance fraud sentences for 3. I had someone actually send me this article, tell me to talk about it on the pod. Keep sending me this stuff. I love seeing it. Basically, and I can show this in a second. Here's the photo. Here's the photo. I don't know if anybody knows where this is going to go, but this is awesome stuff. Parks and Rec guy right here, degree in Parks and Rec. One of the things that you learn when you're camping, when you're out in the wilderness and there's bears around, is you need to lock your car. Why do you lock your car? Because you're worried that bears are going to get inside your car. It's a real thing. There's videos of this on the internet. Highly recommend you go look at it. Basically, a bear, what they do is they smell the food in your car, and they're smart enough to open the door handles, get in your car, accidentally close the door, and then destroy everything inside your vehicle. Happens. I've seen, there's hilarious videos on the internet. Well, in the state of California, if you're a fraudster, you see this as an opportunity. Where'd my mouse go? My mouse has stopped working again. This is going to be an interesting stream today. We don't need a mouse. We got a trackpad over here. This is going to be interesting. So, California bear suit luxury car scam ends in insurance fraud. Basically, what was happening is these guys, somebody dressed up as a bear, got inside of a vehicle using these things, whatever these are, and destroyed the inside of it in hopes for an insurance payout. I know adjusters out there probably aren't super surprised about this type of stuff, but I just find it so interesting. The California Department of Insurance had a person three people used a bear suit to stage fake attacks inside of a Rolls Royce and 2 Mercedes, and then submitted fraudulent claims seeking nearly $140,000 in payout from insurance companies. They called it Operation Bear Claw. 2 Los Angeles men and a woman pleaded no contest to felony insurance fraud and were sentenced to a weekend jail program and probation in order to pay over $50,000 in restitution. A 4th person has a court hearing in September. The group is accused of providing several videos. So they videotaped themselves destroying the car in a bear costume. In hope, I just don't understand it. What I love when I see things like this, for those of you who may be watching, who aren't in insurance and maybe want to be, this is what you get to look forward to. Is there was a claims adjuster on the other side of this that got this video, and I seriously would pay money to be in the room to see, like that's crazy stuff. But yeah, that's the types of claim. I want to know your wackiest claim. If you're out here tuning in, if you're in insurance, I'm sure you haven't seen maybe this specific fraudulent claim. However, I'm certain that if you have worked in insurance long enough, you have seen some pretty wacky claims. So I like to highlight this stuff because I think it's really fun and interesting to see what weird stuff people do, but also the other side of it in terms of claim handling. My wife always tells me that claims adjusters have the craziest stories, and I think it's super true. So if you've got a crazy claim story, if you've seen some fraud, if you've seen some wild stuff like that, I want to hear from you. What types of stuff? I mean, this is just crazy stuff. Oh, now we're out. So that's my first thing of the week. Fraud, insurance, wacky claims handling. Love it. I mean, I don't love to see fraud, but I think this is fascinating stuff. Thing number 2 of the week. Yesterday, the Boston Marathon happened. Shout out to all the runners. Know a couple people that ran. John Corer, Sharon, I don't know how to say her last name. I should. Lokedi, back to back winning one of the toughest marathons on the planet. John set the course record, 2 hours and 2 minutes. Insane stuff. Crazy story. This dude has not only won back-to-back marathons, not only set the record, but his brother won the Boston Marathon, I want to say like 10 years ago. Insane stuff. Running 26.2 miles on a incredibly difficult course, lots of hills. 2 hours and 2 minutes, setting the fastest Boston Marathon course record in history. Kenya had like the top 4 or 5. It's just insane stuff. So shout out to John, legend. Anybody who ran the Boston Marathon, incredible. Shout out to all the athletes. I think these stories are so cool. Gets me fired up. That's why I like talking about them. I think fitness is inspiring. I think doing hard things is cool. You don't have to run a marathon or anything like that, but get out and move. You know what I mean? Get out and move your body. It's good for your health. 30 minutes a day. Let's see if I can focus my camera back. That's my second thing of the week. And my third thing of the week, if I can get my mouse to work. Third thing of the week, I don't know, this big thing, it happened in Ohio, it happened in Minnesota, it happened in the Midwest this week. It's called hail. I'm not sure if you're familiar with hail, but it's coming, it's here. So if you're a property adjuster out there in the world looking for work, it's been a tough 9, 10, 12, 2 years, 12 months, it's been a tough little go. But it's starting to come around. As adjusters, we know that hail produces claims, produces damage. It's not good, but we're there for the policyholders when we need to be. Lots of hail. I'm hearing lot of rumblings of assignments, especially for independent adjusters out in Ohio, need for adjusters in Minnesota specifically. If you were one of the few brave soldiers that went out and accomplished the mighty task of gaining your Iowa independent adjusting license this year, you may finally be seeing some claims from that. If you're not familiar, the state of Iowa recently changed their laws and are requiring independent adjusters to be licensed. And of course, in classic fashion, they just make it really difficult for people. You have to have a $50,000 bond, have to take a test if you're new. So licensing and insurance adjusting is a really important thing. I think every state probably should require a license. It's very important for these people, do the work to be qualified. Don't make it so tough though. Just to go along with what everyone else does, DHS, pay the money, get the license. That's this bond stuff. But anyways, yeah, you got to get a bond. So if you're one of the few brave adjusters who spent the time to get your Iowa insurance adjusting license, maybe paying off. But good news for insurance adjusters, not great news for the world at large, because hail's not great. We don't like damage. However, if you're someone that relies on catastrophic weather events for your income, for your job, you're starting to see some work now. So yeah, if you're an IA out there, if you're an adjuster looking for work, get your ladder ready, dust it off, fuel up the car, get the oil changed, dust off those cougar paws, as they say. There may be a roof needing your inspection services shortly. So good news. Unless your house got hit, hope everybody stayed safe. I know there was a lot of people without power in Ohio, so hope everyone's staying safe out there. But yeah, if you're an independent adjuster, this is it's definitely going to produce some claims out there. So, and that's my 3 things of the week. Thanks for tuning in. If you're hanging out today, you're joining the stream. If you're out on LinkedIn, we're live on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Feel free to say hello in the chat. Love to hear from you. What's on your mind? Otherwise, we talk about things that I hear. The whole idea for this live stream every single week, I open up my office, talk all things claims, recruiting. My goal is to help 100 people get jobs in the insurance industry. If that's just help you 1%, you know what I mean? If it's help you with your resume, help you with an interview, help you get better at finding opportunities out there online. That's the whole idea of this podcast. I talk to claims adjusters, I talk to claims managers all week. And so I like to hop on here, go live, talk about what I'm hearing, learn about what you're hearing. And we just hang out and listen to some no copyright stream tunes brought to you by Stream Tunes. So we're just out here vibing. This is the Claims Recruiter Office Hours live stream. One day at a time. I need to get another mug. I have like 4 mugs. I need to get more mugs. But that's it. We'll open this thing up. I'll start talking about questions or topics. Put them up on the screen here. Itch my ear really quick. Let's rock. If you want to chime in, feel free to do so in the chat. Also, if you go to claimsrecruiter.com, if you want to tune in anonymously, you could do it right there. I get messages through that little portal. Again, that is claimsrecruiter.com. Okay. Little trackpad. My mouse wants to stop working. Let's see what's up here. Conference season, as the kids say. We can't spell season, so we got SZN. Season. It's conference season. I want to know, I'm curious, both from my own perspective, business development, running my own recruiting firm, but also from like an adjuster standpoint, what conferences are people going to this year? What What are you finding valuable? I know there's a lot of conferences going on right now. I keep getting emails from Risk World. I see CLM was a couple weeks ago in Florida. PLRB was on the East Coast a few weeks ago. A lot of conferences go on from now, the next couple months. A lot of conferences, a lot of business travel, a lot of airplane miles. Curious out there from a job seeker perspective, but also a business development perspective, where are the best conferences to go at for adjusters? Where are people heading this year? I'll tell you what, my conference season is pretty light. I don't love travel. I like personal travel. I don't love business travel. I personally find it's difficult running a one-person company to be on the road for days, be at a conference for days. It pulls me away from the work that I do, and so I don't spend a lot of time or money at conferences, but I do think they can be valuable for the right people, if you're targeting the right ones, if you're meeting the right people at the conferences. So curious if you're heading to any conferences this year, what conferences you're going to, what do you see value in them, do you get a return, what are your conference strategies? My conference schedule this year, I have one conference circled on my calendar right before Labor Day weekend in Madison, Wisconsin, the Ignite conference. That's the one I have circled on my calendar, put on by Roloff Consulting, Emma and James Roloff. James is in the chat earlier. That's the only conference I have circled on my calendar. It's really not even a business development conference for me. It's more of like an educational experience where I can go and learn from some awesome content creators, do things like this, how I improve digital marketing strategies, and also just build up the Catalyst community. So that's the only conference I have circled on my calendar for this year. ITC, I'd love to go to ITC. I'm going to see if I can make it work. Awesome conference. Again, not really a business development conference for me, more of like a personal development conference, seeing what's out there, seeing what new technologies are being utilized in the insurance industry, seeing what the newest trends are. And so we'll see if I make it to ITC this year. I'm not sure with my marathon training. It's a tough time for me. It's like a week out from the Portland Marathon, so we'll see. We'll see. I'll have to get some runs in Las Vegas if I go. So those are the Ignite's my number one. We'll see if I make that. I'm really trying to, just seeing the calendar, and then ITC. And then next year, I'll be going to NACA in Reno, Nevada. Shout out NACA. Awesome conference. Again, a lot of these conferences that I go to or I've circled are more of educational stuff. I know there's a business development aspect to conferences, and that's cool too, and that's a bonus for me, but really trying to like improve my own education, seeing what's out there, seeing what the trends are, seeing what the market's like. That's really what I'm trying to get into and accomplish from conferences. Not a big conference guy, hand up, not a big conference guy. That's what I got there, and that kind of brings me to my next point. Social media. Are you using it? How are you using social media to improve your ability to find jobs? Or also, flip side, if you're a company, how to attract talent to your company? And this is kind of like a different type of take. I think conferences are awesome. There's some of these conferences have like 30,000 people that go to them, and you can meet all these people, great networking opportunities. There are so many more people on the internet than there are at these conferences. And so for me, this has been my strategy since starting this thing, and will continue to be my strategy, and it's worked really well. But I just find the internet is an incredible place to network and meet people. And I think maybe it's a generational thing. I love meeting people in person. I think in-person connections are really awesome. I'd rather just fly out and see a client than go to a big, huge conference and take the client out to dinner. You know, I'd rather just show up at your office and hang out and go in your neck of the woods, go out to lunch, things like that. I understand conferences are great. I think the future of marketing, I think the present of marketing, honestly, is on the internet. How many times do you buy something without looking it up online or Googling it if you're going to make a purchase? looking into them online. I think that's where business starts. In-person's great. Social media is an incredible tool, extremely underutilized, I think, especially in our industry for job seekers and also people on the other side, teams that are hiring people can utilize the internet. I was just rereading one of my favorite books. I got it out. The Robot Proof Recruiter, Katrina Collier. Fantastic read. Fantastic book. Even if you're not a recruiter, if you're a team building teams, or if you're an HR professional, highly recommend this book. And one of the things it talks about in this book specifically, let's see if I can find it. I'm not going to look too hard. There it is. Show you are a company worth talking to. And one of the ways it talks about this is encouraging your management team to post online, which I think is a crazy concept. And most companies probably don't love that. Hey, go online and post about your experience at our company. But it's a tool that I think that people could use. And I think the hiring market right now is incredibly difficult, especially like I've talked about on this live stream, for some of these more higher end positions, some of these more niche positions, commercial auto. If you're hiring transportation adjusters, trucking adjusters, commercial auto is a really tight space right now. It's very difficult to find people. It's very difficult to recruit for. One strategy that you can use as a company is to promote your teams and your leaders to post online about their experience working for your company. And it's a conversation I've been having actually with my wife a lot, who works in a totally different industry. And if you know my wife, she's really big on TikTok. And one of the reasons that she uses TikTok is to communicate with people on her team. And I think it's a really fascinating idea. And I think that more people should utilize this. But the conversation we were having just a couple nights ago was like, look, you can sit in a meeting and at minute 28 of your 30-minute meeting talk about a concept that you think is important, and how many people are going to absorb that concept and take it to heart and go to work every day thinking about that? No one's paying attention in your meetings. You know, they're definitely paying attention in your meetings, but you know what I mean? How many people are paying attention to what you're posting on TikTok? If you're a business leader, I'm not saying go out and get a TikTok and start posting on TikTok, although I don't think it's a bad idea. What I can tell you is that I know that all of her coworkers are looking at her TikTok. And so if she's trying to get a message across to somebody, it's one thing to say it in the meeting, and it's another thing to like create an engaging TikTok about that topic and to push information out that way. And it's a very odd concept, especially in like a healthcare setting, which is where she works. But I think it's really important. And she even got some pushback from her company at first when she was doing this, but I think they now see value in it. And I think it's a really interesting concept. If you have all your leadership team talking about what they do at work, problems that they face, issues that they think, things that they've accomplished, what it's like to work at your company, it's like it's free marketing for your company to bring people to work there. Because at the end of the day, you want to attract talent. It's not enough anymore to post a LinkedIn ad, to post an Indeed ad, to post online once, and to hope that the best adjusters in the world just come on in. So there's a couple ways that you can try and attract talent. There's lots of ways that you can do it. But one of the ways is to encourage your management team to be vocal online about what it's like to work for your company and what it's like to work for them and what it's like to be a part of their team. I think one content creator that does that really well is Michelle Rao, and she's created her own consulting firm now. But one of the things, she very good creator to follow on LinkedIn and on other platforms as well. But when I see her posts, I think, wow, that's someone I want to work for. That's someone I want to work with. That's someone I want that person on my team. And I think if I'm a job seeker and I see someone like that posting online about their life and about their company and about problems they face at work or things they see, I think it's a really excellent way to attract talent into your company. And flip side, job seekers or independent adjusters or whoever, I think social media is a super underrated tool to talk about and to market yourself. get online. If you're an independent adjuster and your claims are drying up, get online and make a post about a claim you handled yesterday. Take a selfie from a roof and right there. If you're an adjuster in Arkansas and you're looking for more claims, post a selfie of you on a roof in Arkansas handling a claim. You don't have to give claim details. You don't want to give out too much. You know what I mean? Obviously, you have to protect all that stuff. But like, if I'm a hiring manager or I'm a recruiter and I'm in the work, I guarantee I'm on LinkedIn. I'm going to see that and say, wow, this person is doing the job already. They've obviously got a ladder. They're going to show up looking professional. They appear to know what they're doing. They appear to be competent. It's going to give you a leg up against the competition. So tying it into kind of conference season, social media, they go hand in hand. And I think it's important to have all kinds of strategies that kind of work together. But I think if you're a job seeker, if you're an independent adjuster, if you're someone looking for work, social media is a great tool. You don't have to make a podcast every Tuesday and go live for an hour, but make a post a week. Challenge yourself. Do something different. It's uncomfortable at first. I think everybody that does it has some sort of imposter syndrome where we feel like, oh, is someone going to say something negative here? Or someone not? And I talk to other people that even are more established content creators than I am. I hear that same kind of theme. It's like I have this fear of being cringe, this fear of being people aren't going to like what I say. Just post it. Just try it out. I've never had a negative comment to anything that I've done. I'm not saying I won't. Hopefully, I don't know. Maybe I'm not big enough yet. Maybe they just won't say it to me. Who knows? But try it out. Encourage you to post. Encourage you to try it out. See if it works for you. If you're interested, if you're scared, you need some tips, reach out to me. I'd love to chat about it. Love to help you. Love to help you get outside your comfort zone, try something new. That's what we're all about here. Crew Talent Group, Claims Recruiter Office Hours, trying new things, doing the hard stuff, one day at a time. This is the Claims Recruiter Office Hours live stream. If you're just tuning in, if you're just popping in, I'd love for you to say hello. Don't be a lurker. You can be a lurker though, I don't care. I'm fired up. I got my coffee. Let's go. My dog's he's like looking at me all funny now. I'm getting all excited, yelling here all by myself in my little office. But yeah, that's the Claims Recruiter Office Hours podcast, live stream, whatever you want to call it. We go live every single Tuesday, talk about claims, careers, whatever you want to talk about. If you got something, if you're tuning in, have something on your mind, pop it in the chat. Love to hear from you too. Otherwise, we'll keep rocking through some of these questions. It's kind of what I'm hearing through the week, what I want to talk about. Grooving. What type of adjusting is most in demand right now? I'd love to hear from some other people. What are you seeing out there? I live in the job boards. This is all I look at. What are people hiring for? Who's getting hired? Why are they? What types of qualifications are people looking for? I would say, without a doubt in my mind, the most in-demand adjusters right now are commercial auto claims examiners. I think it's a really hot market. I think the TPA space is being disrupted right now. It's really interesting to watch. I think there's all these kind of legacy TPAs that are doing it really well and continue to do it really well. I think there's a lot of new these AI enabled claim platforms that are popping up. And so I think there's a lot of opportunity. Zaria says, I've been waiting on a deployment recently licensed. So, love to hear more about it. So you're an independent adjuster, recently got your license. What type of claims are you looking for? Are you looking for desk assignments? Are you looking for field work? What also, like, what have you, what types of certifications or trainings have you done? Independent adjusting market, it's tough right now. It's really tough right now. It's going to come around. I'm sure you're in the forums. I'm sure you see some of these things online about some of the changes, especially to the IA world, especially the property markets. It's been difficult. One of the big things that I've seen is just lack of catastrophic weather events. And so it's been a really, really difficult market over the last 12 months, specifically for independent adjusters. looking for desk assignments. And so I'm sure you've done some of these things already, but make sure you're getting on everybody's rosters. One of the biggest things you can do too is try and take every free training that you can from these firms. Try and get your name in front of them. Try and learn. I did a whole segment on this a couple weeks ago. Learn your recruiter's dog's name. But no, seriously, like, meet and connect with recruiters, because those are the people that are going to be sometimes kind of making, not decisions, but deciding if they're going to put your name up, your information up to the claims manager to see if they want to deploy you or not. And so typically what we see in the independent adjusting world is that the field folks go out first, and then typically you'll start to see like desk assignments too. I would imagine we're starting to see some of these desk assignments popping up, just due to some of the storms that are happening. Especially if you're new, I would look at a lot of the bigger firms, but don't sleep on the small firms. But the Everills, the Alacrities, the Sedgwicks, the Renfros, the QA Claims. Make sure you're on all their rosters. You call the firms like twice a week too. So yeah, you're on top of this. You're doing what you need to do. What training have you done? What's have you taken any Xactimate? That's one thing I definitely recommend is getting Xactimate certified at least level 1, if you can. Yeah, stay on their radar, send them update emails, and yeah, like the free training that you can do on a lot of their web portals is good. Sometimes they do. I get the Alacrity text, hey, we're doing a training in Tampa, we're doing a training in Dallas. But yeah, I mean, it's tough right there. So, or it's tough right now. So it's not necessarily you right now. It is a lot of weather. A lot of people get their first start, especially on desk assignments during hurricanes. And I know that's not exciting to hear. And in April, it's like, can you wait 4 more months? But it is the reality of the industry, especially right now. It's been very difficult. I know a lot of independent adjusters who are kind of switching gears and looking at going staff. It's not a bad route to go. Not certified. So yeah, that's definitely something that I would highly recommend. It's a very, very competitive field right now. I'll just be totally blunt and honest with you. It's an extremely competitive field. I know people with 15-20 years of experience that are sitting on the sidelines right now looking for desk assignments too. And so a lot of times when you're a firm and you're deploying folks, you're going to deploy people or give assignments out first to people who you know and who you trust, and people who have done the work before. And so when you're new, you're not on anybody's first list, unfortunately. And so that's when those kind of storms take a minute to go. But anything you can do to kind of push you up that list. And I've been someone who's I worked with Everil Claim Service. I worked with Signature Adjustment Group. I've worked with some of these firms before, so I understand kind of how the deployment, how the selection process goes when you're deciding who to send out. And especially when you're new, the more that you can do in terms of training to prove that what these companies don't have right now is a robust training staff right there ready to train you how to do the job. They want to plug and play people who they know can put in this desk, I can plop them down, and they're going to start and do the job on day one. And that's not to say that they're not going to train you or they're not going to be able to give you support, but they're certainly going to deploy people first who they think are going to need less support than maybe someone who's brand new. And so Xactimate certification is a really good way to kind of show like, hey, I understand my way around Xactimate. And secondly, it's something that you're going to need to know how to do. You're going to need to know how to be proficient in Xactimate. And so the process of learning is a little bit tougher than it used to be. You can't just get a free trial anymore. You have to go through an Xactimate certified trainer in order to get a free trial, but it's definitely something that you're going to want to explore. Symbility is another platform that's growing. It seems to be more and more common. And so something else to check out. I would start with Xactimate though, because a lot of the majors are using Xactimate. But then also as a new adjuster, I would recommend looking at the firms that work with some of the big four like companies. So the companies like State Farm, Allstate, Liberty Mutual, kind of the bigger name insurance companies, is a good place to start. And when I say like you want to work for those you want to work for the firms that work for those companies. So like Renfro works with State Farm, and so you want to get on board with them. Make sure you're State Farm certified. I'm not as familiar with like the Allstate certification. I don't know if like I know like Alacrity and Sedgwick work with Allstate, or they used to. I'm not sure who else got the contract right now, but you know, if you get whatever certification process you need to be eligible, because if you're not State Farm certified and they don't have your certifications, they're certainly not going to call you for a State Farm assignment. So make sure you get that certification. Make sure you send it out to the people that need it, so they have that on file. But yeah, like those types of companies, like the State Farms and the Allstates, are a really great place to learn, especially if you're new. Mainly due to the structure of how they operate, and they have a little bit more volume, and so they can send trainers. They need more people, and so those are really good places that new adjusters sometimes get their start. So make sure you're doing this. It sounds like you're on the rosters, you're connecting with recruiters. So hang in there. It is really tough right now, and you know, staff jobs aren't bad. I know a lot of independents that want to work independent, they want that lifestyle, but the market is tough. And so, you know, some of these entry-level positions with carriers, especially in commercial lines, especially in auto, are a really good way to get your start. You're certainly not going to make as much money as you might if a big hurricane happens, but sometimes a paycheck is better than no paycheck. And so something else to check out is just entry-level positions. I would check out, depending on where you live, you're likely going to have to go to an office and learn in an office. Not a lot of companies are hiring entry-level remote positions right now. I'm not saying they don't exist, but it's definitely harder to find. But it's something to look at, is, you know, what companies have claims offices in your area, who might be hiring. Yeah, I wanted the independent. Yeah, and that's understandable. And like if that's what you're going for sure, like, you know, if that's what you're like, if you're all in on that, it's a great lifestyle. But yeah, it's been, you know, it has been a tough. There was no hurricanes last year. We had a couple hailstorms, nothing crazy. You're in Florida, so yeah, I mean, Florida's tough. I mean, Florida has had, especially in Florida, has been really tough. Florida is just a really tough market. It's getting better. Yeah, a lot of the legislation in the state of Florida has been prohibitive for claims professionals. There was a while there where people just weren't submitting claims. Their deductibles were really high. They didn't want their premiums to go up. Their premiums are going crazy, and so they have low severity claims. They weren't submitting them, and so the claim volume was really impacted by that. Also, with the way the legislation was, it almost incentivized companies not to use independents and to use like scope only type work, or to use inspector only instead of field adjusters. It doesn't impact as much on the desk, and honestly creates a higher need for skilled desk adjusters. But yeah, the Florida market has been all kinds of wacky. It's starting to get better. Now, we haven't had a major. We had a couple last year, you know, Helene and Milton, you know, did some damage. A lot of those claims were in like Georgia, North Carolina, and kind of up the East Coast. But yeah, Florida market's been a little bit wonky. Definitely encourage you to check out, you know, independent companies that have offices in Florida. There are quite a few, and obviously if a Florida hurricane hits this year, you'll have more work than you can dream of. But keep at it, keep talking to recruiters, keep seeing what they're looking for, try and get an idea of the types of people that they're hiring. Certainly recommend getting Xactimate certified. Level 1's great, level 2's better, level 3 is probably more than you need, but hey, it's not too expensive. I think it's like $150 to get level 1 certified. I do think in order to get the free trial, you have to take a class with an Xactimate certified trainer, and so it makes it a little bit more expensive. But as an adjuster, it is a skill that you need to need to have. So hang in there. Good stuff. Yeah, feel free to send me your resume too. I'd love to, I can give you some tips too. You can email me, josh@crewtalentgroup.com, or you can go to crewtalentgroup.com and submit your resume that way. But I give you some tips on your resume. Maybe give you some tips on some companies to look at. A bunch of Florida companies kind of popping up. You should check out Pine. You should check out Otter Claim Services. 2 newer companies that may have some cool opportunities. Also check out, like, it's hard to do the research because it's not always public available, but you can kind of talk to people and learn. Another thing I highly recommend if you're in Florida is to check out claims organizations local to your area. Again, I don't know exactly where you live, but basically Florida has a really good insurance community. And so, finding companies that are Florida based, that write a lot of policies in Florida, like American Integrity, Slide, Frontline. Those are 3 companies just right off the top of my head that I know have a lot of policy exposure in the state of Florida. So who's got those contracts? And again, you can't just Google who's got the American Integrity contract. You got to do some digging. You got to learn for them. Sometimes you got to talk to people that know, and then align yourself with those companies that have that work. And so one of the ways that you can learn some of that inside information is going to claims organizations. So I know Tampa Bay has a really good claims association. I know Orlando's got an association. Not as familiar with the other ones. I just know those 2 off the top of my head because I see them all the time. I think there's a new organization that's kind of popped up that it's like women's golf. It's like I can't remember the name of it, but that'd be another claims org to look at. Rise Insurance Professionals, I think it's home based out of Florida. They do a lot of events in the Florida area, but anywhere you can go and meet other professionals in your area, network, learn information is really great. And yeah, a lot of times the claims organizations they really want adjusters to come. A lot of them are vendor heavy. They don't want to be vendor heavy, but it's just how it kind of goes. But if you're an adjuster, what I'm trying to get at is it's a lot of times not very expensive to go to these events. Sometimes they let adjusters go for free. It's not going to cost you a ton, but yeah, like a $40 event where you go and get dinner, and a lot of times do like a fun activity, and you can just meet people in your area, and it's a really good way to just learn about what's happening, what's going on in your area. So and then the other thing I would say is just be open to some other opportunities if they present themselves. Be open to auto, be open to general liability, some other type things, or even like the scope only. Yeah, cool. We'll keep rocking here. It's the Claims Recruiter Office Hours, a live stream. Every single Tuesday we go live for an hour. Totally open format. If you got questions, you want to come in the chat, say hello, say hello. I thought I had one coming in here, but it was just one of those spam, live in a different country, spam me something. I don't know if these are robots or what, but cool. Let's keep rocking. Got on a little late here, so I'm going to stay on for another 10-15 minutes. Social media, AI and claims handling. This is something I'm really curious about, and I have conversations with people quite frequently just about what's new technology, things that are, and I know AI is a big topic, but I'd love to hear how you're utilizing AI in your claims handling, how your company is, how your teams are utilizing AI. Interesting conversation that I had with an executive this past week was specifically on the auto side. What I found is becoming more and more common is startup companies that are developing like an AI tool for first notice of loss, FNOL, as we say in the biz. as a recruiting professional, I find this fascinating because I've staffed for quite a few FNOL teams in the past. Now, I'd tell you is it's very, very difficult to find. What happens is you have a team where they get 20 claims a week, and then all of a sudden a hurricane happens, a hailstorm happens, something crazy happens, and they get this huge influx of claims. And so they need to bring on temporary employees to go and answer the phones. And so you're bringing on a lot of people very quickly, training them up, and their job is temporary. So it's very difficult positions to fill. Hey, you're going to work this job for maybe only 3 weeks until the claims die down. They're tough jobs. You're on the phone constantly. By the time you get off the phone, it's going to ring again in about 3 seconds. And so a lot of these jobs are being replaced by first notice of loss robots. And I'm not saying they're going to be totally replaced. I think there'll be room for people, but you're seeing it. And the conversations I've had with executives that have these teams is that the AI does really well. And so I'm really curious to hear what people's perspective, if they've used these things, if they've seen it in action, how it's working. The other conversation I had with an executive was about how they're utilizing similar technology to actually do recorded statements. And so if I'm an auto adjuster, part of my job is to determine liability for an accident. And part of that is to interviewing the people that were involved to get recorded statements that are usable when they're, defending a position, whatever it might be, and getting that data. And it's something that people don't love doing. And so I think it's kind of an interesting concept. I'd be really curious to know how it works, what people's experiences have been with it. But if I'm an adjuster and I can click a button and that sends a robot to go talk to somebody and do a 15-minute recorded statement phone call with someone, so I don't have to necessarily do that, that sounds pretty cool. And if there's companies out there that can do this, I think it's a huge opportunity in the market. I'd be really curious, though, to hear from adjusters what their thoughts on it. Is it a robot taking their job, or is it a robot helping them do their job more efficiently and more effectively? A fly in front of me. Get out of here, fly. But yeah, I think it's an interesting conversation. I think it's dominating conversation in the LinkedIn, the conference world right now, but I had a couple really interesting conversations this week, and so I'd love to hear some other perspectives, and I'm sure it's a topic that I'll cover in future live streams too. But it's taken over everything, and not taken over, but it's being inserted to everything. Recruiting too. I've seen, and I utilize a really cool platform that uses AI to help source for candidates, and so it scrubs job boards, or it scrubs LinkedIn, it scrubs profiles online, and then returns profiles that match certain skills that I'm looking for. And so is it the only way that I source people? Absolutely not, but it's certainly a tool that I've used and that helps me and that I pay money for. At one point, my job was literally a sourcing specialist. All I did was go out and find people. It's fun work. I enjoy the investigative nature of it, but I also enjoy clicking a couple buttons and having a robot do it for me. So shout out to that robot. Is it perfect? Hell no. Get some wacky stuff in there, but it's cool, and I'm excited to see how it progresses. So yeah, AI and claims handling. Again, this is the Claims Recruiter Office Hours weekly live stream. I open up my office every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Central Time or 9 a.m. out here on the left coast, and we talk about exciting topics. So exciting, super interesting topics. Insurance recruiting. Let's go. It's something I'm passionate about, and so I get fired up over this stuff. I hope you do too. It's not the sexiest of topics, but it's what I do, it's what I live in, it's what I experience every single day, and I love sharing it with you people, everyone out there, the interwebs, the listeners, the wonderful people on LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Let's keep rocking. Okay. I'm going to spend like 10 minutes on this. Let's see. I'm looking to get into claims. I'm summarizing this, but looking to get into claims. I get one version of this. Oh man. I get a version of this question constantly, and so I like doing this. It's also fun for me to go out and research this stuff. I honestly didn't prep at all for this. A lot of times if I do this, I'll go prep it, but you can just see like literally what I do as a recruiter, what you could do as a job seeker, really quick. This is not gonna. It's gonna be like 10 minutes. It's not gonna be super long, but this is what I would do in this situation. I'm looking to get into claims, brand new to the industry. A little bit of background. This question was this person. It sounds like has a little bit of insurance experience. I'm not really sure what insurance experience quite yet, but live in Des Moines, Iowa, and just kind of like what's out there. Based on what I know, Des Moines, Iowa is an insurance hotbed. There's a lot of insurance companies based out of there. There's also a lot of startup companies. I think it has to do with like the tax laws in the state of Iowa, but for whatever reason, Des Moines, Iowa is a really great place to, if you're looking for work, if you're looking to be in insurance. There's a lot of insurance companies, a lot of startup companies, a lot of tech companies that are based in Des Moines, and so I think it's a great opportunity if you live there. Again, entry-level insurance roles right now, you're going to be looking at going into an office. There's just not a whole lot of remote opportunities out there. I'm not saying there are none. However, your probably best bet is to be open to going into an office. So here's what I would do. I'm going to share this little screen over here. Good to see you, Josh. Thanks, ChatGPT. This is not, again, this is quick. I would probably do this a little bit differently if I wasn't on a time crunch here, but let's just rock. So here's what I would do. I hate Indeed.com. I just want to say, can't stand it. I don't like the word hate, but I cannot stand the job boards. It's just terrible. So I know a lot of people, that's like the first place they go, Google jobs in Des Moines, try and go on the forum. Like I don't even touch it anymore. It's just worthless to me. I want to go out and research what companies are there and then go look straight from the companies. So I'm looking for jobs located in Des Moines, Iowa. Can you tell me companies, TPAs, mutuals, or insurance who may hire claims adjusters in the Des Moines area? Let's see. So this is how I'd start. I want to get a general vibe on the companies that exist out there, and then we're gonna go look and see. Yeah, sneaky good market for entry. Yeah, that's what I was saying. It's really good, legit hub. Lots of Farm Bureau. Boom. There, first one. Let's check out Farm Bureau. Farm Bureau. This is Des Moines. So doing this without a mouse. My mouse died. I don't know what happened. So let's just take a look. Awesome company. I've actually staffed out of this Des Moines office back at the derecho, like 2020, 2021. I did some work with this company, with a different company that I was working for at the time. And so I know they hire adjusters. I know they have an office there that I've sent people specifically to that office. I think we staffed like 3 adjusters for the derecho to work specifically in this Des Moines office. And so here, customer service rep. So this is kind of your entry level, maybe like FNOL. Again, this is not a bad entry level position. I don't know what you might be looking for. This person might be looking for in terms of pay. My guess is this is hourly in the range of $15 to $20 an hour. Again, not a lot of experience required, but a really good entry level position where you could potentially kind of move up in the world. over at Farm Bureau is they have a lot of positions. Here's their offices. West Des Moines is one of them. Providing exceptional first resolution service to our agents, customers, inbound call center, high volume calls, billing assistance, policy, service, system. So you're gonna learn the inner workings of how this claim company is working, and you're gonna learn the different departments, how they work together. It's a really good learning opportunity. Is this where you want to work for the next 20 years of your life? Probably not, but it's a really good stepping stone within this company, which is a really good company. And yeah, they're hiring for it right now. So there's one potential position. Claims service rep, claims medical team. A really great intro to claims is medical claims, especially on the, like I talk about a lot, you know, commercial auto is a lot of opportunity. So here's like an entry level type position where you could start associate's degree or equivalent plus 1 to 3 years prior med pay, PIP handling, or medical claims experience is preferred. Work from the office. Again, this is a good 1 to 3 years of experience. You know, if you're entry level though, like I wouldn't look at this and say, oh, they need 1 to 3. Like, apply for it. But also, in addition to applying for jobs like this, what I would go next is go over to LinkedIn, look up Farm Bureau, look up the people who are in Des Moines, Iowa specifically, and try and connect and engage in conversations with people who might be hiring for these roles. It's not enough just to submit your resume and hope right now. Go out and connect with these people, get in conversations. The conversation doesn't need to be, hey, I'm looking for a job. It can be, hey, I'm exploring a career in insurance. What would your advice be to someone in my shoes? I see you're a claims leader at so-and-so company. I just wanted to connect with you. I think a lot of people in the industry love talking to people who want to be in the industry or are kind of like gaining experience. And so that's another way you could do it is connect with these people online, engage in conversations. So yeah, there's 2 kind of entry-level jobs at this company. Let's see what else. Property claims rep. Yeah, see, this is entry, like, boom, another role right there in your backyard. College or equivalent, claims experience is a plus. This is probably a, so this is a field position. So I'm not sure if this person wants a field position or not, or would be interested, but this is a field position. But again, they're willing to train, and so it might be a good way to. Are you a go-getter with high initiative? It's not an easy job. It's not going to be sit at home and be on TikTok. It's going to be out in the field working hard. So yeah. There's a couple. Let's look up auto owners. Ooh, and Cincy, two good companies. Again, I'm spending more time maybe than I thought I was, but this is what I would do. This is how, and this is how I do like business development even too. Is like I just want to research these companies. I want to find it from them. I don't want to find it on LinkedIn. I want to find it. I mean, you can find stuff on LinkedIn too, but it's just better than Indeed. Explore openings. This is posted today, workday. Okay, let's look at location. No Des Moines, no Iowa. I don't see Iowa on here. Spelling it wrong. I know I spelled it wrong. Check out Cincy. It's a great company. Really good company to learn at. I've talked to people who have worked here before. They throw everything at you. If you're an adjuster for Cincy, you handle everything. So it's a really cool. It's a good Fairfield. Thing in Iowa. Come on. Click on remote. Yeah, so. I know Gallagher. I thought Gallagher has an office in. Check this out. Let's try and find something that doesn't say senior next to it. So this might not be a position for entry level, but it's something that you can like kind of see like this is where you could be. This is the future potentially. 66 to 105. Eligible for remote work. Workers lost time indemnity. Yeah, looking for about 5 years of experience. And also, like, yeah, don't sleep on some of the smaller companies. Hawkeye claims. Let's look at that company. And again, like these are great people to connect with, even if they don't have open jobs right now. Like certainly people that I would want to connect with because they know the business, they know who's hiring, they know what's going on out there. This is in Florida. Again, in Florida. So it looks like they got an office in Florida. 1 year experience. So I know this company, I believe, they're based in Florida. Would have assumed with Hawkeye. Let's see what else. The hometown, let's go, Sioux Falls. Shout out Sioux Falls. Council Bluffs, not quite. I don't know. Council Bluffs is probably a few hours from Des Moines, but again, entry level. This is property, so this is probably field property position. Not a bad salary range. Not a big salary range, but again, that's kind of what you're looking at. Entry level is going to be, especially in Iowa, probably around that, maybe a little higher. So yeah, that's kind of what I would look at. Some of the routes that I would go, look at insurance companies that have offices in your area specifically. Go to their website, go to their career pages, see what types of opportunities they have. Even if they don't have opportunities that are specific to like exactly what you're looking for, it's still a good little practice to go online, go on LinkedIn, try and meet some people in the area that have job titles that may be hiring for those types. Again, this is like the 10-minute version. I could probably spend 2.5 hours just researching this, but that's what I would do. Go on, like, and this was a terrible prompt, if we're being real. I tried to do like a deep research one earlier, but it's still going. So, yeah, Farm Bureau is a huge company, and also look at some of the bigger companies like State Farm and Allstate that have claims operations out of Des Moines, certainly. And so I know these are not all like larger companies, but there's just some companies you can look at. Don't sleep on TPAs. Don't sleep on independent companies. As someone who's recruited for independent adjusters in the state of Iowa for the last 10 years, you know, it's a big market. Obviously, it's hail driven, or driven by work, but you're kind of centrally located in the U.S. where you can go to South Dakota, you can go to Minnesota, you can go to Wisconsin, you can go to Illinois, you can go to Kansas, you can go to Missouri. Like, you're right in that hail tornado alley wind. And so check out some independent adjusting firms too. I know one independent adjusting firm that'll help train you. That really needs help in Iowa. So like if that's a route that you'd be interested in going, doing roof inspections, doing that, hit me up. I will connect you with one independent adjusting firm that would train. You're gonna have to put some work in on your end. You're gonna have to do a lot of work in terms of like learning Xactimate, learning property adjusting, but they would help. I know there's a lot of companies out there that really need help in Iowa. Not a lot of independent adjusters in Iowa. And what I will say about Iowa specifically is it's like when it rains, it pours, right? You're going to have down years and you're going to have crazy years. But there just seems to be a lot of independent work there too. There's a lot of companies that write policies in the state of Iowa and the state of South Dakota and southern Minnesota that, don't have an adjuster locally. And so they get a couple claims and they send them out to IA firms. And if you're willing to hop in your car and drive 3 hours for one claim, there's certainly a company or two that'll pay you for the mileage and that could utilize your services. Again, it's not, windshield time's never fun, but it could be your foot in the door. So another thing that I would look at is like, don't sleep on the small firms, don't sleep on the small TPAs and independent adjusting firms. Let's do one more. Let's look up Sedgwick. Careers, come on, give me those cookies. Oh, I'm already on the career page. Great. I gotta scroll down. Where do I scroll to? Come on, Sedgwick. More opportunities. Boom, boom. Oh, they got a Dubuque office. Doesn't help you. Let's click on Iowa. Let's get Dubuque out of here. Coralville, is Coralville? Oh, near Iowa City. Not close. Where'd it go, Sedgwick? Oh my goodness. And so here, it could be entry level. It doesn't look like it's super entry level, but remote type experience. I want to know what the pay is. It doesn't really say. But it's a remote position, client services rep. So looking like someone that helps with contract renewals, client services, pricing, coding parameters. Not necessarily like a claims. It's claims adjacent. And so again, could be. You don't always have to look for claims adjuster type roles if you're trying to get in. Sometimes like underwriting or other departments, like client service rep, that could be an interesting segue into it. Sometimes it's about getting your foot in the door, learning a company for a year or two and trying to kind of maneuver then within that company. They'll help pay for some certifications, some designations. They'll help train you. So not exactly what this person was looking for probably, but something to maybe look at. Certainly, but yeah, this is kind of how I would go about it, and this is what I do in terms of BD. I love looking at this because I'm like, man, Farm Bureau would be a sweet company for me to work with too. Maybe they need some recruiting help, so happy to look at these types of things. If you're out there looking for work, pop into the pod, pop into the live stream. Love to hear from you too. But that's a little bit of kind of what I would do if I was looking for a job in a specific area, and keep looking. Go. let's do one more. I could just do this all day. I think this is fun. But let's look at one of just a big company, State Farm jobs. Well, huge company. I don't know if you've ever heard of State Farm. They do a couple commercials. Join our talent neighborhood. Ooh, that's cool. I want jobs, current openings. So search current openings. None. What if we just do Iowa? None. Well, try another one. Portland. Allstate's hiring in Portland. Pretty cool place. I know a guy. Gosh, they don't make it easy. Certainly do not make it easy. I think we passed it. Nothing in Des Moines. At Gen, Allstate Company, another good place to start. Yeah, we're past the D. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I would approach this. Oh, I'm not even on my screen, right? I'm not even on my screen. But looking at Allstate too. But yeah, look, check out all the company. I mean, find who has offices in your area. Go out and look and see when you're driving on the interstate and you see that big building with the sign for an insurance company. Go to that insurance company's website and look for jobs. So that's what I would recommend. Again, I could spend hours looking for this. I love it. I love doing this type of stuff. It's like the fun investigative work. Use AI to help you like locate specific companies or offices, and then yeah, go on their websites. Again, LinkedIn is a fantastic place to meet people. I think there's a conference in Des Moines actually coming up. Probably I'll have to send you that info. Des Moines is a really good hotbed for insurance if you can figure out the little niches to look in. Ag is big there, obviously. There's companies that just do agriculture insurance. There's companies that just specialize in, property insurance targeted towards, ag insurance is like insuring the cows or insuring the corn, but traditional property insurers like Nationwide also insure the buildings. So you have multiple policies. We'll do one more, Nationwide jobs. I know this because I've helped staff for Nationwide adjusters in Iowa before. Ooh, another one, United Fire Group. Let's look up them. Let's look up United Fire Group. UFG Insurance Careers. Go back, screen share this. It's not Des Moines, is it? So, yeah. Anyways, yeah, that's what I would recommend doing. That's how I would kind of go about it. There's some of the things that I would do. I said I was going to spend 10 minutes. I spent 30. I could spend so much time looking at this stuff. It's fun. It's cool stuff. I know it's not the most fun necessarily for job seekers when you're under the pressure of finding a job, but yeah, research the companies that are local to you. Connect with people in your area on LinkedIn. Try and engage in conversations with people. go to events, go to local claims organizations, go to the golf tournament this summer in Des Moines. Tell you some people, go meet with Signature Adjustment Group while you're out there. Some awesome homies. Try and connect with other adjusters in your area. See what other adjusters are saying. Even like some of the vendors, you know, some of the companies like the business development reps for you know, restoration companies and you know, engineers. They a lot of times kind of have the information of what companies they're talking to, who they've spoken with recently, who's hiring, who's having trouble hiring. They kind of know the inside intel. So those are some of the things that I would do. Best of luck on the job search. Feel free to reach out to me if you're looking for a job and need some tips. But thanks for joining. This has been the Claims Recruiter Office Hours weekly live stream, where I go live every single Tuesday. I'll be here next week. You know where to find me. Thanks so much for tuning in.